We are at 9:30 on a wonderful Tuesday morning. It is Parenting Tuesday. And today we talk about deadbeat parents or absentee parents. In studio with me, Grace Karaoke, who is a family coach and counselor, in studio with us to help us navigate through this discussion. How are you doing, Grace?
I'm doing great, and I'm so glad to be here today.
It's good to have you back.
Yes.
You know, Corona has taught us something. Whether we are good parents or not.
Exactly.
Our children have been home for 3 months and we are still counting.
Yeah.
And we are wondering, what? Let me kick off this discussion by telling you something I shared earlier. I had a very interesting conversation with my mechanic. My mechanic is an older gentleman. He's like a father figure.
Right.
And he was asking me, Pastor, watoto wako wanaweza kushinda? And I was wondering, why are you saying that? He says, you know where I stay? Every other parent is complaining that the schools should be reopened for the children to go back to school because the children are mischievous. And I'm wondering, how? They're your children.
Yes.
I don't know what you think about that.
I do think that that's our reality. The parents who are parenting our children at this time, because we have developed this idea of we need to go to work and we need to provide for the children.
Yes.
So we get them the best schools. We pay for them, but we are not taking care of them, because when you think about it, in my mother's generation, when I was growing up, it is my mother who took care of us. And even if there was a house girl, it was my mother went to do her daily chores, whatever it was she did, whether she worked or not, or she worked on the shambas, but she would be home to prepare to take care of us. So she nurtured us. But we were told that you need to usome masomo ndio ninakupatia. So I was socialized to actually go to school, become a career woman, and so that when I remember my mother used to tell me I'm not very good with hands, you know, I'm not, mimi sina hiyo nguvu ya mikono. So she used to tell me, wewe usome kwa nguvu ndio upate elimu, upate kazi, utaandika watu wa kufanyia kazi. So there is a generation of us who have not been taught how to balance our careers plus taking care of the children. So what we do is that we do the whole thing of let me go to work and build an empire while and then I pay people to take care of my kids. And so we are not learning, we are not even taking time to learn how to be parents. We think that our main job is to make sure that you are taken care of. When I was a youth, I used to be a youth coordinator in my church many years ago when I was in my 20s. And I went to a church where it was an affluent community. And I couldn't understand why the teenagers I worked with were depressed. And when I would talk to them, they would say because they don't see their parents. Their parents don't have time for them. And these are kids who have everything. So one particular one I'll never forget. She told me that she felt that her driver, their driver, was almost like the dad. Because where do you want to go today? Village market. Driver anaambiwa chukua mtoto upeleka village market. So these children never ever learned how to even experience the love of a parent, the care of a parent, the presence of a parent. So how do you expect them to be parents? Because it's right difficult. Now, as we are talking, they are the ones who have children right now. So what do? They work hard. They went to the big schools and they have good grades and they have great jobs. But don't ask them to take care of a crying baby. I have seen that happen a lot. Now, myself, because I grew up, and probably yourself, you grew up with hands-on parents. So you know that's what you are expected to do. So we do have, and I thank God for churches, because the churches, a lot of churches have parenting support groups. There is a lot of training and mentoring on how to be parents. And one time I visited, I don't remember which church it was, but Dr. Mukolwe, the one who has written a beautiful book
on parenting. Yeah.
on parenting. Him and his wife, they talked, and even their kids, they spoke in that conference. And there were many parents there.
Wow.
And I said to myself, this is great. Now, this is what I heard, the questions that were asked.
Yeah.
My son is 9. He does. I don't know what to do with him.
Exactly. In fact,
I
I was
don't
going
know
to
what-
go there. A lot of parents today say, I don't know what to do. I can't remember who it was who had written a post on Facebook.
Yes.
And they were sharing how they were in a supermarket.
Right.
And a young boy
Yes.
was terrorizing the mother.
Yes.
And the mother looked helpless.
Yes.
And she was just saying, I don't know what to do with this child anymore.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, how now?
The other day, as we this whole thing of kids who are getting pregnant,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, that information is flabbergasting.
Yes.
And whether it's true, whether it's manufactured, whatever it is, there is a reality to that. The other day, I was speaking to a young lady who is doing some work in Kitui.
Yes.
That's her hometown, and she told me she has a foundation where she wants to give sanitary pads to girls, 1,000 girls in her locality. She could not get 1,000 girls. She only got 200 that are going to school because she went to the schools.
Oh,
You see?
Yeah.
So where are all these other kids? Where are they?
where are they?
They are either there is poverty or the parents are not, they need them to stay home and take care of the younger ones as they go hustle. I don't know what's going on, but there is a crisis that is there. In my day, my mother never went to school. Maybe she standard 2 education, but my mother said, there is nothing else I can give you except education. So we do have, we have this disparity.
Yeah.
When you go to the rural area, you have these kids who can't go to school because they can't afford the uniform. Even if the schools the school is free, the parents cannot afford uniform. And then you have the affluent kids who have everything.
Yeah.
And so there needs to be a balance somewhere where even when you do not have money to take the kids to school, there needs to be programs that are helping parents to do that.
Yes.
Now, on the other hand, when we have these people who are very affluent, we need to give them parenting skills
Yes.
so that they can take care of their children. When we ask the question, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that you almost want to retort back. You are the parent. Before you gave birth, you should have asked, what is parenting? So there is, you are right, there is a need for us to empower the parents.
Yeah.
And when people were asking about the question of, so who is to blame for the pregnancies?
Yes.
And I'm saying, I don't, you know, people have many. I said, we don't need to blame anybody.
Yes.
We just need to find solutions
Exactly.
for the parents, because at the end of the day, the first teacher for a child, by the time this child is going to baby class, they are 3 years.
Yeah.
By 3 years, this child is already deciding what the world is like.
Yeah.
Developmentally, by 3 years, the child is deciding whether I can trust people or not, whether this is a safe place or not, whether I'll be abandoned and rejected, whether my needs are going to be met. So when mom is not at home, by the time that child is 1 year, they've already formed a world view that mom and dad are not available. So the person who I know is this person,
Yes.
but that is not your mother. So the mothers are also losing out. The parents are losing out the connecting and the bonding with their children very early.
Yes.
Very, very early. I thank God for allowing me. You know, I have a master's degree, and usually you think you have a master's degree, you should work. Why did you go to school?
Why did you go to school?
So
Yes.
when I got married, and I got married as an older mom, I'm an older mom. My babies were born when I was in my 40s.
Wow.
So what happened is that I told when we were dating, and the question came up, how do we raise our kids? And I said I wouldn't mind staying home at least for the first year.
Hallelujah.
For that child to bond with me. However, my firstborn, I couldn't do that because of financial strain. So I went back to work after 6 months.
Yeah.
But even going back to work after 6 months, my primary responsibility, I knew that child is mine.
Yes.
So there is a mental transition that needs to happen with our parents, that you need to understand that the primary caregiver for that child is you. I hear when I do marriage therapy, I hear things like, sasa niende nyumbani na mama hajafika. And I say, you have kids? And they say, yes. So you can't go
home to your kids.
You know you are a parent. And I say, you know you are a parent. And those little people, they need you. They need to see daddy at home. They need. Don't say that I don't go home because my wife leaves work at 6, so I wait for her so we can go back to home together. No. Go home. If you leave work at 5, be home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Spend time with those little angels, because what they experience at home, that's what they are going to bring into the world.
Okay. And shortly we'll talk about the whole issue of technology and whether it's a hindrance to parenting today, because I recognize when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of this technology. You know, I get amazed today that our children can stay. In fact, like with this corona pandemic, our children can be in the house for a month, and it's okay. For us being at home in the house for half a day was unbelievable.
Right.
So has technology disrupted some things where parenting is concerned? We'll talk about that shortly. Remember, it is Parenting Tuesday. We are talking about parents who are there but they're not there. Whether you want to call them deadbeat parents or absentee parents, that's what we are looking at. The whole aspect of technology, sometimes I wonder if it has made parenting a little bit more difficult. You know, I saw a cartoon somebody had drawn, and they were saying, it was a picture of depicting the 90s. You know, in the 90s, the mother is trying to drag the child from outside into the house because the child wants to just be outside there, play football, play bano. Now, in this generation, the mother is dragging the child out of the house to go outside. At least ride your bicycle. You're so much on these screens. So are these screens affecting our parenting?
Right. I do think that it depends on how you take technology. Technology is good, and there are a lot of valuable things that technology has brought to us, and we now have a lot of information that could help us. But also technology without boundaries, without direction, especially to our children, it becomes a menace. Because now, remember, the reason why children are doing very well in school is because at school there is structure. Now, people like me who are phlegmatic and they don't like structure, we have to gain the skills to structure the day, to say that you know what, you can play, you can be on the phone for this period of time, and also to actually take control of what your children are watching on the tablets, on the phones, and we cannot deny them what is available for their time. You know, the other day I was talking in a family meeting, and the gentleman of the home where I had been invited to speak to, he is in his 70s, going to his 80s. And he asked me, and he said, "You are a family therapist. What is happening to our children?" And I told him, you know, this is their time, and this is what they have to deal with, and they will make it. It was your time, and you made it. It was our time, and we made it. And this is their time. Technology is here with us, and it's going to just get better or worse. You know? So you as a parent, you need to figure out what are the benefits of technology, and then create boundaries for your children. Let me say this. Children, by the time they are getting to the age of 8, and they are going on, they become industrious. They are trying to assert their independence. They are trying to explore. Who am I? And so they will do a lot of things that will be against what the boundaries are. It's very normal, parents. It's very normal for your children to push the envelope. Your job is to keep the envelope where it's supposed to be, and push it for them, because you understand the consequences. Children, until they are 25, the idea of choices have consequences that hasn't sunk in. They are all about instant gratification. That's why you are there, so that you can take this technology and ask yourself, why does my child have a phone? What is the purpose for it? And communicate that with the children. And then this thing of parents letting their young people keep the phones overnight.
Yes.
Let's and you have given them a smartphone, and then you are surprised why they are doing sex talk with men at night.
Yes.
I mean, people, Pastor nilikuwa nasema, people who have marriages and families, they are sleeping at night. They are not up chatting up people.
Oh, that's very true.
Yes.
That's
so
very
if you're a little girl who is 13 to 15 to 18, you have given them a smartphone, and then you find that they have found a way to have a pseudo account on Facebook. Guess what? The people they are talking with are usually lonely people who are looking for people to to talk to, because married people are asleep.
Yes.
So you need to be very careful, because I have heard these stories over and over again, that there is the benefit of technology. Let's find out what is the benefit, because of course now they want to talk to their friends, they want to play games on the computer, they want to play games on the laptop with their friends. That's how they are connecting. We need to kind of agree to that, that our children are connecting virtually. Because and corona has also given us parents a run for our money, because now we have to connect virtually. How many Zoom calls? I mean, I think Zoom is making
telling you
a killing, because there are so many Zoom things that are happening right now. So we have been introduced to the world of our children, and we need to communicate. We need to teach. First of all, parents, train yourself on what is all this about the virtual world. Train yourself over that.
Know what's happening.
Know what's happening, and then guide your kids. Guide your kids. That's what when I talk about discipline. Discipline, when you think about it, it's not just about punishment. Punishment is part of the discipline, but really it's making disciples. It's creating this person who they are going to be when they are grown. Now, talking about deadbeat parents. So when I was looking at the explanation of what it is, it's the parent who is not available to offer support and nurture to the children. So it can be obviously when people saw the poster, they thought we are talking about the parents who abandoned.
Very true.
And they are not taking care of those children.
In fact, that was very intentional.
Yes, but really we are talking about the parent who is at home, but you are not available. Tafadhali, married people who are working from home, daddy, take time off that work. Unajua vile unachukuanga ukiwa ndani ya, when you are in the office, you take your tea break. Please take your tea break, go downstairs and look at the kids, tell them how are you doing, have a snack with them. Don't just let mommy be the one who is just and I saw on BBC when corona started and the lockdowns all over the world, they had a report about women who are working from the house. They are completely overwhelmed. Why? Because everybody is coming, mommy, nobody is going to daddy. So I am asking daddies also to give leadership at home during corona and take the initiative to say, you guys leave mommy alone, mommy needs a break, let's go and play or whatever it is that you're going to do.
Okay. Before we run out of time, there's that question that question that sometimes parents ask. And we've even had leaders in this nation ask, so what do you want me to do?
Right.
So for that parent who's at that place, wondering, so what can I do? What tips can you give parents to help them become more hands-on and involved in the lives of their children, especially if their children are preteens or they're already teenagers? You know, there's some time you've lost. How can you begin to catch up?
Now, number one, there is something we call parenting stress. So take care of your stress levels first and foremost. So you are stressed, you are feeling overwhelmed, because that's what stress does to you. You feel overwhelmed. So ask that question, but ask yourself, what can I do? What am I going to do? What is the problem? And take a moment of yourself, go to your room and take a moment and say, this is my child. I am the parent.
Yeah.
They are overwhelming, but I am the parent. So do some self-awareness, some self-work, self-talk, and ask yourself, if I don't take care of them, who is going to take care of them? Now, there are a lot of parents who are parenting through fear. You know, they are afraid this is going to happen, so they are very anxious. They are not able to provide the appropriate help to their children. So take care of yourself. Get to know you. Now, ask for help. We are there. We the family and family therapists. We are all over the place. Seek for the help. Now, if you don't know any family therapist, at least go to your pastor. Talk to someone. Find a mentor couple who have raised children, and walk with them. Let them walk with you, especially gentlemen. I want to encourage them. Remember, as the head of the house, you just don't have just a title with no authority. You need to take up your mantle and say, I need to learn. If I don't know, I need to learn. Some of us our fathers were harsh when we were growing up, but with age they have mellowed. Why not go sit with your dad and say, Dad, I'm really want to have a talk with you. How did you deal with us? Because every generation deals with the teenage years.
I love that. Because our parents, for those of us who still have parents that are alive, are a very good resource.
Yes.
They've been through this before.
Yes, and look at us.
Yes.
So let's go there and say, and then the information we get, that information, we translate it to our time. But I will say this, it is important for you, if you're feeling overwhelmed, please seek for help. But you can also use your own resources, which is talk to yourself. Think about when you're stressed at work, what do you normally do? When you are stressed with a project, how do you handle it, and translate that into your family life? A lot of times, I think we think that family life is supposed to be happily ever after. No energy put in there, no initiative. It just happens, and that is why we are feeling overwhelmed. So it would be important for people to reach out and get the help that they need. Look for resources. Read about parenting. Go online these days. You know, these TED Talks and all that. There are a lot of information, and I want to encourage people not to think at hiyo ni mambo ya wazungu. No, they will trigger you. It will trigger you. It's information, and you take that information and you translate it to you as a particular situation. It will trigger you to think outside of the box.
Okay, as we finish, because I was looking at the newspapers today, and there's a high chance that schools will not reopen in September. There's still so much that we need to think about, and so many measures that need to be put in place. And so how can parents ensure that they really maximize on this time? Because our children are at home. You know, how do we maximize on this time? Even to get to know them, to know their fears, what they think, their struggles, and things like that. Right.
Now, let me say very quickly, a lot of times what we struggle with is, how do I communicate with my children? Parents, please listen. Learn how to actively listen to your children. Sit down, give yourself time. Don't do what we normally do. They are talking to you and you are moving around the house. So sit down, look for teachable moments. Number one, when you are actively listening, pay attention to what they are saying. Ask question, clarifying question. I heard you say, is that what you mean? Do reflective listening. What I heard you say is one to just repeat to them what they said, and then summarize what they said to you. That way you will not be paying attention to what you are feeling. You are paying attention to what they are telling you. Number two, if you have children who children have the lifespan of a child, not the lifespan, but the attention span of a child is usually 5 minutes tops, and that goes for teenagers too. So there is a skill of brevity. Brevity means that shortness. Be concise. Be very clear what you want to say to them, and finish it within 5 minutes. If you are still talking after 5 minutes, you are repeating yourself, and they are not listening to you. And then be consistent. Be consistent about what you want them to learn. There is this thing we used to be told, that Barea, the home of, the clan of, we don't. So teach your children what the values of your family is. Sit down as a parent and ask yourself, what this ship that I am steering, where is it going? What is the destination? What are our goals? And remember what I said. Children will always be pushing the envelope.
Yes.
There is a study that was done a long time ago in the early 2000s about teenagers who have boundaries versus teenagers who don't.
Yeah.
And this is what they said. When I know what to expect, then I feel safe. Even if I'm going to push the envelope, I feel safe. When I don't know what to expect, I feel like I am in uncharted waters.
Yeah.
So parents, know your space and then train yourself to talk to your children. Listen, just think about when you are dating your husband. Si mulikuwa mnasikizana, mulikuwa mnasikiza sana.
Yes.
So train yourself on active listening and then take care of your stress. Parenting stress. Na hiyo question ya what am I going to do? Sit down. If you are in corporate, you always do these trainings about problem solving and decision making. Go back and take those skills and use them in this space where you are saying, I don't know what to do. Stop sending your kids to other people to take care of. Train yourself. I tell parents all the time, I want to coach you on how to take care of your daughter instead of you sending her to me.
Wow.
How you can talk with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grace, asante sana.
Karibu.
We truly appreciate you coming. And this is a conversation that we need to take to the next level. There's still quite a bit we need to discuss. And so we'll let you know when we can pick up this conversation and go on with it.
Right.
Great.
Yeah. It's been a
Mzazi,
pleasure.
I hope umesaidika asubuhi ya leo. Thank you so much for being a part of that. Keep listening to Family Radio 316, station where the music does the talking.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.